So I just was a know-it-all. Learning about trauma and triggers really made me realize that the more you know that you don't know shit.
Don't play with it, don't be dishonest. Still not understand.
Hey y'all, so as you can see from the title, today I'm going to be talking about why I packed all my stuff and moved to a whole nother state by myself. At the same time, I'm going to be showing y'all how I color and install this unit. The unit that I'm using is actually a throwaway wig from when I was searching for vendors. I decided not to go with this vendor and I've just had it sitting in the closet for a while. So I'm finally finna put it to use. So of course I am going to get to the topic at hand, but I did just want to mention that I used the box dye that you guys seen in the beginning, but I knew that it was going to take a little bit more to lift it because it comes with a 20 developer. So because I'm starting off with the dark brown wig, I did go ahead and add 40 developer and a little bleaching powder to lift the color more than it would have if I didn't. But it still didn't come out as light as I wanted it. I wanted it to be the same color as the unit from my last hair tutorial. But if you watch that video, you know that I started out with a light brown wig. So it didn't take much lifting to get it to the color that I wanted. And then I also took into account that it's a curly wig and that it was going to be wet a lot. And you know, when hair is wet, it's actually darker. So I definitely wanted to lift it. So to lift it, I just dipped it in some hot water and more bleach. And the bleach on the knots were actually sitting for 10 minutes. And then I let it sit in the water for another 15 minutes. And you can't tell here because obviously it's super wet, but it definitely lifted to a lighter brown. Now back to the title of the video. So for those of you that has been following me, especially on TikTok, you would know that I did move to Houston, Texas by myself. And I'm just going to be going over 5 reasons why I moved to Houston, with the first one being that I just never lived away from my hometown. I always felt like I missed out on that experience when I didn't go away for college. And I know you don't necessarily have to go away to college to get that experience, but I do feel that as a young adult that's the more feasible way to do that. When you're just moving out of your family's house, you don't have much money to just up and move and figure things out on your own. I feel like college is like the soft launch into the real world, and I didn't get that. As soon as I graduated, I moved into my boyfriend's house. I got a job and I did some college in Miami-Dade, but the point that I'm trying to make is that I was pretty much thrusted into adulthood. I did not have to move out at all. Like, I just thought I was grown and I threw myself in a rat race without even thinking about it. When you do that, it's very easy to get caught up into just living a mundane day-to-day check-to-check life without really getting to know yourself. I'm not saying my 20s were bad at all because I was a flight attendant for a short stint, so I did get to travel the country, meet a bunch of new people, but at the end of the day, it was still a 9 to 5, and I just felt like I was still stuck in some type of rat race where I'm just trying to survive. So I was in survival mode for most of my 20s, where I just felt like I was going to the same places, doing the same things, seeing the same people, having the same conversations, and it just kind of got boring. And then this year I turned 30, and when I looked back on my 20s, I just felt like I was stuck in the same cycle. And ultimately, I just wanted a different scenery. So speaking of turning 30, that brings me to reason 2 why I moved to Houston, which is I turned 30 and I felt like I didn't know myself. So last year, I really got into psychology and I learned a lot about myself. When you embark on a healing journey and self-actualization, you have to be completely honest with yourself. When I started being honest with myself, I realized that I used a lot of distraction, avoidance, deflection, and a bunch of other coping mechanisms, which didn't allow me to really meet myself deeply. I always felt like I was the golden child, and I got a lot of encouragement and praise from the people that was around me. So I just was a know-it-all. Like, I was always the loudest person in the room, always telling people what they should do. I was just never minding my business. And if I'm being honest, like I said, that was just literally deflecting. Learning about trauma and triggers and coping mechanisms, and especially attachment styles, really made me realize that the more you know that you don't know shit. Once I realized I didn't know it all, I had to do a whole bunch of self-reflection, and I realized that I didn't know myself half as much as I thought I did. I read a lot of books and listened to a lot of different psychologists on different podcasts, and when I tell y'all they read me for filth, they were putting my experiences and interactions into words that I never could. Now remember, I said I was a self-proclaimed know-it-all, so what I found myself doing was every little piece of information that I gathered, I would try to bring it into conversations with my loved ones. And the thing about a healing journey is when you go on it, you have to be ready to go at it alone, because not everybody want to hear that shit. Not everybody is ready to meet themselves deeply. Not everybody is on that same type of time. And just because you found out all this stuff, they don't want to hear it. So I found myself being frustrated, and it was nobody's fault but my own. Everything that I was learning, I was just so excited and so ready to put into action that I was just bringing it to everybody. But it was like, girl, mind your business, stay with your head low. And that's what I wanted to do. But I was just so engulfed in everyone else's life, and they were so used to that it was very hard for me to get out of it. Which actually just brings me to the third reason of why I moved, which is that my environment was just not that conducive to progression, and it was kind of toxic. The thing about my healing journey that I'm learning is that I cannot be responsible for changing the people around me. All I can do is change my reaction to the people around me. Now, the more practical way to do this is really to just work on yourself through the relationships that you already have. And for those of you that can do that, I commend you, because I just felt like I was not strong enough to do this. I felt like I was trapped in the same cycles, the same conversations. And even when I tried to change, I still found myself getting triggered and caught up in the same reaction. I just felt like it was the perfect time for me to have some isolation and self-reflection. So I did it the responsible way. I did actually save up for a year, and I just moved away because I could. And that just brings me to reason number 4 that I moved, and it's really just because I have free will. The first 3 reasons are super valid in my opinion, but reason number 4 is because my why not meter was off the charts. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I had a steady clientele and business was doing pretty good, but it just wasn't enough to make me feel like, oh, I just can't leave because I'm too successful over here. I mean, my business gave me the means to be able to move here, so I'm very grateful for that. But aside from my business, there was nothing really holding me in Miami. So why not? Why not step out on faith and see if you can rebuild your business? I have a lot of faith in my talent, so that's the last thing I'm worried about. Why not, meet new people, have new experiences, have different conversations? The first thing that I noticed my first couple of months of being here is that the conversations here are way different. People are on their shit, and I don't know if it's because of the type of places that I'm going to while I'm here, but ain't nobody playing around over here, and that's the type of environment that I really want to be around. Furthermore, the world is just so big, and I realize we are not confined to just one place. I don't have to live in the same place my whole life for what? And that's not even to say that I'm going to put roots down here. Like, who knows, in the next 2 or 3 years, I might move to another state, but I just decided to step out on faith so I can experience all life has to offer. I just wanted to experience myself in a new environment. And the culture in Miami is really superficial, and I can honestly say I got caught up in that. Everything was about how something appears on the outside, and that made it really easy for me to not get to know myself on a deeper level, because you don't really have to, nobody really cares about your soul. I know that sounds weird, but nobody really care about your soul in Miami. And I just wanted to move somewhere where it was still a big city, but people were more down to earth, and I feel like that really describes Houston. I never want to make it seem like I'm shitting on Miami, because I love Miami town. I still love going back and everything, but as far as day to day, I just wanted something different. So yeah, since I moved to Houston, I definitely learned a lot about myself, good and bad, and I would probably make a video on that in the future, but for now, I'm just happy that I did have the courage to move. I don't have any regrets at all. I do miss my family and my customers at time, but honestly, I've been back a bunch since I moved here. Eventually that is going to slow down, but as of now, like I said, I don't have any regrets. I'm enjoying Houston. I love the people that I've met so far. I went out quite a bit when I first got here. Within the last month or so, I've been more so to myself in isolation. I've been journaling. I've been having conversations with myself. I've been working out quite a bit, and I'm just enjoying my alone time before I start working full time. But I'm definitely excited to experience the city. I'm excited to see the person that I become. And really, I'm just not putting any pressure on this experience. I definitely have had some bumps along the way, but for the most part, everything has fell into place. One thing I'm working on is giving myself grace. So I think I've been doing a pretty good job with that. And I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited for my new journey. And I can honestly say, I just feel like since last year, I've just been meeting myself for the first time. It's like, I feel like I've always been me and I've always been here, but I kind of just been like going through the motions. I haven't really tapped into my full potential. I've just been doing a lot of people pleasing and a lot of, just doing stuff for validation. And it's just, I don't know. I just want to really get on this journey with myself, get to know myself, get to love myself more. And I just want all that comes with that, good and bad, ups and downs. Like, I feel like I've been awakened and I'm just so grateful to be here physically and also mentally. I feel like the fact that I was able to do this, there's nothing that I can't do. So I'm happy to be on this journey and I do plan on bringing you guys along. So if you've made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe if you aren't already. And if you've had similar experience or you can relate to anything in this video, drop a comment down below. I would love to hear about it. We can have a chat. I'm very interested in hearing your perspective on anything that I've said. If you've ever packed up and moved across the country, I would love to hear about that too. If you turned 30 or 40 or however old and turned your life upside down, I definitely want to hear about that. So yeah, just drop a comment below and I'll see you guys on the next one.